had never been one to follow rules. She wore detentions like badges of honor, little testaments to her rebellion against Ridgeway High's authority. But when Mr. Dunbar handed her a week's worth of after-school detention for skipping class, her smirk faded. Detention in room 303, alone, every day after dark? That was a punishment even she didn't find amusing. The rumors about room 303 had been whispered among students for years. Stories of a freezing chill, strange noises, and the feeling of being watched. Clara didn't believe in ghost stories, but even she had to admit there was something off about that room. It always seemed colder than the rest of the school, no matter the season. Monday evening, she dragged her feet to 303, plopping into the nearest desk and pulling out her phone. The clock on the wall ticked loudly in the otherwise silent room. She played games and scrolled through social media, passing the time until the hour was up. Aside from the chill in the air, nothing happened. But then came Tuesday. She noticed it almost immediately. Writing on the desk she hadn't seen the day before. It wasn't graffiti though, it was carved deep into the wood, as though someone had used a knife. The words read, "Help me." Clara ran her fingers over the grooves, the edges rough against her skin. A faint giggle echoed in the empty room. She froze, glancing at the doorway. No one. "Hello?" she called, her voice shaky with the racing of her heart. The door creaked slightly in response, as if the old hinges were mocking her. Wednesday was worse. When she arrived, the writing on the desk had changed. It now read, "Look under." Her stomach turned, but curiosity got the better of her. Kneeling down, she peered beneath the desk. Taped there was a photograph, old and yellowed with age. It showed a group of children in black and white, standing outside what looked like Ridgeway High. Most of the faces were faded, but one stood out, a girl in the back row with hollow eyes and a wide, unnatural grin. The room's temperature plummeted. Clara's breath came out in visible puffs. The clock on the wall stopped ticking, its hands frozen at 3:03. She bolted, leaving the photo behind. By Thursday, Clara was determined to tell Mr. Dunbar she wouldn't go back to room 303. But when she arrived at the office, he wasn't there. No one seemed to be around. Confused, she checked her phone. 6:30 p.m. The office should still be open. Defeated, she returned to the classroom. The photo was back on the desk. The girl's grin was wider now, and her hollowed eyes seemed to follow Clara wherever she moved. The words carved into the desk had changed again. "Stay with me." That night, the giggling returned, louder and closer. The air was heavy and suffocating. The door slammed shut on its own, the sound reverberating through the room. Panicked, Clara yanked at the handle, but it wouldn't budge. The lights flickered violently, then went out. In the darkness, she heard it, soft shuffling footsteps coming toward her. "No," she whispered, scared, backing into the corner. A voice, faint and childlike, whispered in her ear, "Why did you leave me?" Clara screamed. Friday came, but Clara didn't show up for detention. Her friends reported her missing that evening. Police searched the school and found her belongings in room 303, but no sign of Clara. When her parents asked the principal to investigate further, he shook his head sadly. "We stopped using that room years ago. No one's been assigned detention there." Later, a custodian cleaning room 303 found something odd carved into the desk. Who's next? Rumors spread fast. Students who dared to enter room 303 claimed they felt cold hands brushing against their shoulders or heard faint whispers begging them to stay, and every so often they'd see a face in the dark, hollow-eyed, grinning too wide. Ridgeway High quietly sealed off room 303, but the stories didn't stop, and those who disappeared never